Yo, what's up, Picks and Parlay family? I don't have my wedding ring on. Nobody tell my wife. I'm Detroit Lenny, Picks and Parlays. What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking? I am live and in full effect on a Monday, December 18th. 1 week. 1 week till Christmas. 7 days. Next Monday is the Xmas year. I don't know why I just DMX'd your asses. But whatever. We're going to let everybody file in. I got some updates on some contests. I got some stuff to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm excited for the first of the year because I'm going to let everybody file in and I'll ramble why I'm excited for the first of the year as soon as I get my eye boogers out of my eye. I have been working. Well, I shouldn't say I ain't even going to lie. My wife has been working rather hard and tirelessly. Sorry, Mac jacked up all my stuff. There we go. To kind of remodel my little area here. I know some of you probably don't know this, but this is a green screen. In fact, I'm going to change it right now because it's the holidays. It's the holidays. So we'll go right here to our Christmas story leg lamp living room. But so I'm trying to kind of remodel, have like kind of a permanent background spot, and we've been moving my studio area around in her little woman cave. We call it a Mandy Nook. I'm calling it a Mook. It's that's what I'm calling it. So we've been remodeling, doing some stuff, kind of moving some stuff around, kind of thing. You know, not really. I don't want to call it remodeling. We're just repurposing some stuff we've had in our house in different places. Like we had this little half bar thing that we in our house. It was like a wet bar thing that was useless. The sink never worked, and this light. Oh, that's over here, so we're not gonna have to go like that. That's fine. So yeah. Turn my light on. So we've been doing some stuff, hung a cabinet up, repurposing like stuff I've always had, kind of just like, you know, sports memorabilia that I was always going to hang like in a man cave / bar area. And I just don't, my man cave is my garage. Like, I don't know if anybody does shit like that, but I'm from the Midwest. We hang out in our garage and basement. We got no problem doing that. So I converted my garage basically into my man cave. So, I mean, I got a TV out there. It's where I watch sports, where I chill. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been up to. By the way, for those of you that have reached out and asked, I feel great. I have a little bit more still sinus stuff from COVID a couple weeks ago. So I'm back on the mend, if you will. This is going to bother the shit out of me because this light over here blew on my ass, and I don't have one to put over there. And I don't really care, but whatever, it's going to bother me. Anyway, so let's talk let's get to some housekeeping. I feel good, though. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes, 16 parlay from Lenny. I'm on my feet. I'm bumping that shit all day. Dude, like, I feel like from where I stop, I feel like me and you are on the same musical taste level, right? And it's 100% gonna bother me. Just like 100% go to timeout. And I feel like back in the day, I would have the song bumping and like to the point. There we go. How about that? It's gonna reach. To the point where, like, I need a cassette. I need two subwoofers in the back. I need two 18s. I'll probably take two 12s and one 18-inch bazooka. That's how I rolled back in the day, just so you know. The Alpine in the stereo, the Alpine amp. I was an Alpine guy. I don't know. Some of you guys were JVC guys. Some of you were whatever. I was an Alpine guy. Remember the radios where you hit the little button and the face came off? That guy had one. 2 subwoofers in the back. Boom, 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 boom. But I feel like this is a song I would have on a cassette or a CD and just rolling down the Ave, cruising down 7 Mile. Those of you that know. Let's talk some contests, though. If you are into contests, want to bet some contests, quickly, I'm going to give you an update, bring in a graphic. There's some good news y'all are going to want to be in for this weekend, especially Christmas being Monday. You want some extra Christmas cash? I got you. Join the Picks and Parlay contest page. It's facebook.com/picks/groups. Just go to the groups thing on Picks and Parlays. Just search, on Facebook, just search Picks and Parlays contest. So I got to search. It'll come up. Can't miss it. Got the goddamn diamond logo, Illuminati, whatever logo right there. The Picks and Parlay sign. So let's do this. We got a contest that we do every week. The NFL weekly contest. It mirrors like very similar circuit contests. 5-0 really is what you got to do to win. 5-0 wins you $100 cash. T-shirt, hoodie, whatever we got in stock. You know how that rolls. Some kind of swag. So you get $100 and whatever. Compete against everybody else. You put in a Monday Night Football score. That's your tiebreaker, whatever. But a lot of people went 4-0-1. I went 3-1-1, but I would have been pissed if I would have went 4-0-1 because you know who you guys went 0 on is the Bengals. That was your push. You had the Bengals -3, and that was your pushable game. And in contests, and I made this mistake this weekend myself. You can't take a pushable number because you either win or lose. Nobody gives a shit if you push. Like you don't win no money for pushes, so you might as well try to win. Right? So I took a -3. That's a pushable number, and I pushed on it. And I would be pissed, like some of you I'm sure are, that went 4-0-1 because you ain't win shit. You got to go 5-0. 4-0-1 is not 5-0. I don't care which way you want to slice that, right? That's okay. This is where all the other ones that went 3-1-1 or 0-5, this is where that contest rolls over. So now we have a rollover. This is, guess what? The second weekend, we rolled over week 14. We rolled over week 15. So week 16, $300 pot. That's what we got right here. Hold on, Mr. Craig Trapp. I see you. So this is our rollover on the weekly contest. I will post probably Thursday or Friday for week 16. We have Saturday and Sunday games, so it used to just be all Sunday, but now you can play Saturday or Sunday. Monday night's your tiebreaker. You got to go 5-0. I got winners, so it's not unachievable by any means, but now you got a $300 pot. And Craig Trapp, surprise guest.
300. I'll tell you what.
Did you come in here to yell at me? If you came in here to yell at me, I got a
100.
Christmas tree right there.
I'll put an extra 100 this week.
This week,
so 400.
$400 pot?
400. You got to go 5-0 though. So like, hey,
Craig. Now you know this is live. I can roll the tape
live.
back.
I got it.
Right.
It's like $400. I think this is good. Look at this week's games. Tough week. Tough week.
I'm putting extra 100.
I mean, just take Lenny's, like the Bengals. You just take the Bengals. I take my team. Take Lenny's team, the Lions. There's 2. You need 3 more.
I argued with my cousin, who I'm in. Everybody's familiar with the circuit contest. I'm 50-50 with him on this contest. And I wanted to take the Lions this week. And he's like, no, we're not taking the Lions. And I'm like, listen, if I could take the Lions this week 5 times, I would. I knew they were going to crush Denver. It was a spot for them. Nobody believes in them. That's great. We have two games to win the division. All we have to do is beat Minnesota next week in Minnesota.
They're going to win the division. The question is, can the Lions make any, hay in the – because to me, it's the 49ers and the Eagles and the Cowboys out of the NFC. It's one of those 3 teams. Like the Lions are the 4th best team. That gets you, I don't know what. I think
we're better than Dallas, but I think we're comparable with Dallas, but I don't think we're on.
Well, they're not going to play Dallas. Right? They would play.
Here's what's going to happen. You want me to give you the scenario? how as this goes for Lions?
They're going to play the Packers.
No, we're going to play the Rams. Round 1 in Detroit.
Like
Matt Stafford's got to come back home.
I don't
and
like
he's
that.
gonna put us down nicely, like
I'm
you
going to
would
be
do
honest.
to your
The
own
Rams are the
animals. You put them
team.
out of their misery.
If
That's
you
what he's
said
gonna do.
if I'm an NFC, if I'm the 49ers, the Eagles, or the Cowboys, I think those are the three favorites. I do not want to play the Rams, any of them, because I'm telling you, they're playing good right now.
They're playing really good.
Like they're a young defense that's gotten better. Like after 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, this team is not making the playoffs. But the NFC is so average after the top 4 teams. It's like I don't know. Someone posted something that all 30 teams, so there's 30 teams that are available to still in playoff contention. This is the latest that there's been that many
This
teams.
This is not a lot has been clinched. Now, I saw a meme today that would be an alliance. Like this is like the heaven, like the clouds part, the heaven, and God comes down and touches the Lions himself. This is a perfect world scenario. We beat Matt Stafford. We exercise all of our demons out this year. Okay, and here's how this is the path to the Super Bowl per a delusional Lions fan. We beat the Rams, Matt Stafford, the wild card round. Then we have to play Philadelphia, and we beat Matt Patricia, who's now calling the defensive plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, and that, or in some way, that takes us to the Super Bowl, the NFC, that we would beat the Eagles. And then we play the Browns, who also has a former Lions head coach.
Well, you'd have to win another game there.
Right, I know, but just let it happen.
So you're going to have to beat the 49ers, too, by the way.
I know, I'm just trying to pass that up. I'm just trying to think, put it into the universe.
What's the connection with the Browns?
What's his name? One of their assistants. Hold on.
I mean, the Browns are the worst, 9 or 10 win team, whatever they have. They're the worst 9 or 10 win.
Dang, what's his name? What is his name? He used to coach the Lions. Coach Matt's that Cleveland Browns.
Not Stefanski, is it?
No, it's a coaching staff. Let's see. I'll know him as soon.
The best thing about the Lions this year, you guys should be loving Matt Stafford. First of all, they wouldn't be where they are today without that trade where they got out from under that contract, got a much more quarterback-friendly contract.
It was a good trade for both parties.
Right. They got a Super Bowl, the Rams, and then the Lions got out from under that contract that wasn't going to win them a Super Bowl, and they got tons of players in, like in the trade, via the draft. It was a win-win for both. Jim Schwartz. Yeah, he's the defensive coordinator, right?
Defensive coordinator, yes.
He's playing like that defense is ridiculous.
Former Lions head coach, Matt Patricia. Now I don't know why anybody gives him a job.
Well, the Eagles' defense has been bad. They were just grasping at straws, and he just happened to be the next man. He just happened to be the next man in the room.
The next guy standing around.
But listen, Patricia's defense has won Super Bowls with the Patriots. God. So that's how he ended up as
his, or was it Bill Belichick's? Because every time everybody says that Bill Belichick's tree is horrible. His coaching tree is horrible.
I wouldn't say horrible. They haven't had success when they become a head coach. But guess what? Half the coaches get fired every 3 years, basically, if you look at the cycle. So, you could say anybody's tree. Now, yes, the McVay tree right now is doing very good. Very good. These guys are all been successful. Guess what? All those guys are going to get fired too, because every coach pretty much gets fired at a point. I mean, it sounds like Bill Belichick might get fired or traded. Fired. So, I mean, it happens to everybody, especially in the NFL now, where it's like, forget about what you did 2 or 3 years ago when you won a Super Bowl. Sorry, you got to go.
Yeah, now you got to
go. To me, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning in the NFL. I don't care who you are as a coach. And that
you look at the Jets, Robert Saleh, he's probably on the hot seat in some people's mind. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers goes down in the third play of the season.
Well,
game one.
I think he'll get an extra call because Aaron Rodgers loves him, I guess. Rodgers loves him. So, I think they do whatever Aaron Rodgers wants. So, they've done that for the last year.
You're just going to cater him to do whatever. So, you get another year.
But look at the worst teams in the league. The Patriots, bad quarterback. The Carolina Panthers, unproven quarterback. I'm not sure he's good or not. Uh-oh.
He's got balloons.
Balloons going. Who's the next worst team?
I didn't do it.
The Bears? No. Arizona. Their quarterback was down most of the year.
The Indians. Yeah.
So their quarterback is
well, the Chargers, they already fired theirs. The Raiders already got rid of
the
theirs.
Chargers are the scratch your head because they have one of the if stats wise they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So
he should have been fired last year though.
Yeah,
Brandon
2 years ago.
I don't know why. Yeah, maybe even. I don't know, but
so my futures have not been good. I had a future under on the Lions because I just thought they were I thought they would. I was 9.5. I was like, I think they're going to win 9 games and win the division. I thought that was a competitive division, but not like a tough division.
Nine would have won that division. I think could have won that. Yeah. I think still can win that division.
Probably. And then I had a over on the Chargers at 9. I think 9 or 9.5. I thought that would be the team in the AFC West to take. I thought Kansas City would still make the playoffs, but maybe take a step back this year. And I still think they have. I still think they can win it all, but they're like a team that they can win it all and they can lose the first round.
Yeah,
Kansas City.
I did not expect. I was wrong on both. I had Houston over win total, so that cashed. But I thought they would be better. I didn't think they'd be this good right out the gate. I thought they would be
that win this weekend was so gutty. I mean, Tennessee was rolling off of that Monday Night Football comeback and at home. Derrick Henry, it's just I thought he might be the guy that doesn't he can extend the running back career would be a little longer, kind of like Adrian Peterson maybe. Right. It's just you get to that 8th, 9th year as a running back.
It's like you fall off. Yep. The running backs, they fall off a cliff. There's no gradual decline in numbers. He just stops. It's right off the side of a mountain.
But he hasn't gotten the carries. That's the one. A couple years ago, he would get 30 carries a game. So it's he only needed to break 1 or 2 run, and then you still get 100 yards, and everybody still thinks you all of a sudden you start getting older. Now you don't get the carries. So it's you get 12 carries. He's not a 12 carry, gonna break a 50-yarder kind of guy. He's gonna have
not that guy. Right. Yeah. He's a grounded pound. The more carries he has, the better he develops.
I mean, the only 2 guys that have lasted are Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore in the last basically 15 years. And those guys had ridiculous.
Frank Gore's still playing somewhere.
He was playing when his son was in college. Yeah. That's how long Frank Gore played. Now, granted, he had a son when he was younger, but still, I mean, you don't usually see that. So
I want to ask you about your Bengals. I want to ask you about Jake Browning because
he's the real deal.
I think this kid. I mean, I know it's way early to start all.
He's the second best quarterback.
They're talking about him being this is a very Drew Bledsoe type situation. Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady situation, and I'm like, whoa! Now you're comparing Joe Burrow to Drew Bledsoe, who I think Joe Burrow still has plenty
Tom Brady
game to play.
You're comparing him to Tom Brady, where he came in and filled in for Drew Bledsoe. To me, he's not that. He does not have the Tom Brady arm. Tom Brady had a ridiculous arm. Everybody knew that. Right. He doesn't have that, but he has accuracy, and he's more like a Drew Brees.
He has cojones. Huge cojones.
And he also has 3 of the best. He has maybe the best 3 receivers in the league. So that surely helps. I mean, when you throw the ball up to T. Higgins and he could just go up and high point the ball, it makes you look really good. And then you have Chase he's always open. And he turns a 3-yard pass into a 30-yard gain. And
he reminds me of Calvin Johnson watching him play because Calvin was always open. Matt Stafford's career was built around that guy. And he's always open.
You can't guard those guys. You can be in perfect defense and they're just going to go up and get it. And what are you going to do? Tackle them and just hope that they don't get extra yards. And to me, Jake Browning, now they have a ridiculous schedule. They play at the Steelers, which is absolute must win for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. They play at Kansas City and at Cleveland at home. They play in Cincinnati. They play Cleveland. Oof. Now Cleveland will most likely not be able to beat the Ravens. So that last game probably will mean nothing to Cleveland. So maybe you get Cleveland and maybe Kansas City even the second game. If Baltimore wins this week, I don't think, if you look ahead, if you're Kansas City, you probably don't have a whole lot to play for because you're probably going to be the number 2 seed. You're not going to overcome. So maybe they get 2 teams that don't have a lot to play for, and the Bengals could win those games. But, as a Bengals fan, I wanted to lose out, to be honest, when we lost Joe Burrow, because to me, I'm
well, we're not going nowhere.
T. Higgins is you can't franchise T. Higgins. So he's going to go. He's going to go. We're going to need a replacement for him. Hard to get big-time receivers when you're drafted 25th. If you're drafting 14th or 10th or 12th,
yeah, you want to be top 15. To be honest with you, to get a playmaker, you want a playmaker.
And the Bengals aren't a trade up kind of team, so it's not like they're going to trade up. And
they're not historically like that. That Ravens 49ers game on Monday night, primetime, Christmas Day. I mean, come on, guys. What's the line? I hate to say this. It could be a preview of the Super Bowl.
I don't look at the lines on purpose. But tell me the line and that, until I make my picks. So then I at least in my brain who I think is going to win. And then I go look at and see, okay, tell me that line. Let me predict it first. It's 49ers at the Ravens.
49ers at Ravens. Yes. Monday night. The late
49ers are
3 Monday night games too. Wow.
4.5 point favorite.
Pulling it up right now. I just saw.
I think the 49ers are. I think if they played on a neutral field right now, they could play any team if the Super Bowl played today, neutral field anywhere. It's 49ers versus anybody. I think they're a touchdown favorite versus everybody.
It's 5. The best line out there is 5. You can get at DraftKings, but I see a lot of 5.5s. San Francisco -5.
San Francisco's when healthy. When all those guys are healthy on offense,
top to bottom.
They've never lost.
The most complete team in the NFL.
They're 19-0 since Purdy, McCaffrey,
both sides of the ball.
Who's the Dabo and Ayuk, I think, or Higg. I forget. There's 4 or 5 of them. When they've played, they're like 19-0. They're tough to stop. They have the best offensive line in football. Their defense, they were one of the best defenses, and then they went and got Chase Young, like one of the best defensive ends.
It's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
But I think top to bottom, they're complete. At both sides of the ball, too, defensively as well.
San Francisco can't take off. They have to. No. Both teams kind of need to win out if they want to have home field. But I do believe Baltimore has one game where they can lose, I believe, once, right? And still have home field.
Yes. They can still lose. They could lose as long as it's not a division game. But I think, yes, you're right. Because they're 11-3, Dolphins 10-4, but they have the tiebreaker on the Dolphins.
Yeah. Whereas San Francisco can't lose.
No, because Philly.
Well, they do have the tiebreaker on Philly and the tiebreaker on Dallas. But it would be like if you lose this game and then something happens and you get injured, you would be screwed.
The Lions are going to beat Minnesota twice, I think, and lose to Dallas. So the Lions are going to finish with 12 wins. So that's where I figure. And San Francisco, let's say they lose to Baltimore this week, Monday. Now they're only at 11 wins, and I don't know who Philly has.
This sounds like a Detroit Lions fan trying to figure out how you can get a bye.
Hey, listen. Hey, then you got Danny Cutlets over there, or whatever, over here playing the Eagles next week on Christmas. What better Christmas?
You want to be?
Santa Claus loves New York. Of course, Santa Claus hates Philly.
So if you're the first team, you'll most likely get the Rams or the Seahawks.
See, I don't want the Rams in any way, shape, or form. I'd rather.
If you're second, you're going to get
or the Vikings or the Cowboys. I'd rather.
You can't get them. You can't get them because they're going to whoever wins the South is hosting the best team, which will be the Cowboys most likely. So they'll play the Cowboys. So they'll be who's the next best team?
It'd be Minnesota right now. The 6 and 7 seed is Minnesota and the Rams, and then 8 and 9 are New Orleans or the Saints.
So, but if you beat Minnesota twice, it won't be Minnesota. It won't be Minnesota.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't.
You almost need to be very honest, split with them because then you would face them again, and I do think they're.
I'd be okay with losing to them this week because it's in Minnesota. Then we go to Dallas, which I think we lose that game, and then we lose that game in Dallas. And then the last game of the year is in Detroit against Minnesota. And then we win that for the division and then for everything.
And then you might play them back-to-back weeks.
Right. And then we ease off. We already have the division. We can't move anywhere. We want to play them in the wild card round in Detroit. We probably rest a lot of players and treat it like a bye. And then we'll just see you next week.
The NFC, the AFC is where all the excitement is because there's
Yeah.
so many teams that are good in the AFC. Like, and I don't want to call the Steelers good. You don't want to play the Steelers because they
They win
have
ugly games. They win ugly games. They should not be
low
anywhere.
possessions. They have a fairly good defense, maybe top 4 defensive player. You know, Watt's probably top 4 defensive player. Like he's the type of guy that can score on defense or like wreck your quarterback. Knock him out for the game. Like that. That's a team I do not.
He's a game changer.
And then if you go through the other teams, like you want to play the Bills right now. I mean, the Bills have all these close losses. If they don't have those close losses, they might have the best record in football. Now, granted, you could say that about a lot of teams, but I mean, they dominated the Eagles game at Philly and lost in overtime. I mean, remember what they did to the Dolphins. Like, I mean, they absolutely dismantled them.
The Bills are dangerous because you just
they lost to the
know
Jags but they didn't play at all the first half, and then came back and almost won over the pond against the Jags. They could have won that game. They played at all. I mean, like it's now granted they should have lost the Chiefs game. So you sometimes you say that what if game on losses, but it's like what if on the wins too.
Right. I also don't think, even though we just beat Denver, I think Denver is a sneakily good team.
I think they're terrible.
You think they're terrible?
Yeah. I think Sean Payton has done an unbelievable job and has got wins when he probably should have got losses. And he caught a couple teams in great spots that, that's part of just the NFL. You take advantage of the opportunities in front of you.
Right.
I think they have flaws, and Sean Payton has done an unbelievable job. But when you play really good teams in the playoff, when it's like it's all on the line, I think they're gonna struggle.
So here's the thing. They're okay. So next week, week 16, they host the Patriots in Denver. Week 17, they have, I think they play.
Has to be a division.
They play at home against the Chargers.
Yeah, which they've quit.
Okay, so that could be a win. So now, and then week 18, they have to go on the road to play the Raiders. And that's probably where their hopes and dreams end. But I don't believe this Raiders team is done because they just got the Chargers coach fired. They just put up the most points they've ever put up in franchise history. Their season's good. No matter what happens from here on out, the Raiders think it's
they have an outside chance to make the playoffs. Probably not going to, but I do not want to play the Raiders if I'm the last game of the week or last game of the year. Division opponent, if they can keep you out of the playoffs, like that's like a winning year. Yeah, that's like last year when the Lions beat the Packers.
I was at that game.
Like it kept the Packers out. Like that's like to me, those are dangerous games. Like you want to both teams are gonna be in. That's great, but it's almost like extra. Like hey, we can keep you out. It's like
it's just. If you get a chance to stick it to your divisional opponent and ruin their playoff hopes, of course you're going to try and do that. That's for sure. What are you liking tonight's Monday night game? You got any free action for us?
My best bet's in this. I'm not going to mention it, but it's an interesting game because you have both quarterbacks are iffy. So I put it out and I said in my write-up to all the people that buy, do not bet this game until you know which quarterback's playing or if they're both playing or if they're both not, because it totally changes the game. If one plays and one doesn't, they both play or neither play. I expect both to go. I do expect both to go. And, I always say, who has to win this more? The Eagles have a lot. They should have lost to the Bills.
To play for.
They got absolutely demolished to a Cowboys team that then goes and gets absolutely hammered. And, I feel like now that they split, you imagine if the Eagles had to go on the road.
After
they dominated the first 2/3
I personally think this is a great, I was in the same boat. I bet a lot of lines ahead of time, a week out, this and that. Some games I don't. I only do that if I think the number is going to move against me as I get closer. In this game, I waited. I personally, lean Seahawks, whatever. But I didn't bet anything.
But the Seahawks are a must-win too. If the Seahawks lose this game, they're probably, I'm not saying out of the playoffs because theoretically, but you look at what they have left. I looked. Very tough schedule.
Yeah, this
Very
is a
tough.
game that they need to win. And
Yeah.
I think Philly can't fall in the seeding. If they fall, they do not
They
want to go
are
on.
built. They are a team that's built to run the ball and stop the run. They're terrible on the pass, but they can stop the run. So those are the type teams that I do like on the road in games. But if you've dominated for 2/3 of the season and all of a sudden now you don't even have a home playoff game, that is a psyche type,
That messed with your head for sure. Yeah.
Let's grab your cojones and can you win?
That's like, wait, what are we doing here? That's
It's
why I like the Lions against Denver. I just thought, everybody was questioning, Jared Goff, he stinks. When do we see Hendon Hooker and all that? Do we draft a quarterback? I can't believe Detroit sports media was talking, when do we draft another quarterback? I'm like, you should be fired from your job, you dumbass, because you just drafted a quarterback, Hendon Hooker.
Well, but he did have a few games there where you're like, it was some of these bad decisions. It's not, he has the skills. It's not a skill thing. It's a, decision making. That's the difference between good quarterbacks and unbelievable quarterbacks is when you need that 3rd and 4 and you can squeeze it in on a good decision, not throw the picks, not keep it away from turnovers. You win a turnover battle in NFL, you almost win every game. It's almost every game. Now your defense 100%. Is I thought they were turned the corner this year was going to be the year. No, this defense is
Yeah. The Lions defense is bad. I don't know how else.
I don't know how they can beat the 49ers. There's some teams like the Eagles.
They just have to outscore them.
The Eagles can't stop them on the pass, so I don't think they can beat them. I think the Cowboys could actually, even though they didn't when it was at San Francisco earlier this year, and the Cowboys can't win on the road. So that's their
problem.
The Rams would be the one team that I just keep saying, I think their defense.
I think the Rams could beat the 49ers.
Yeah. And I always think teams when you play teams twice a year, every year you're built to beat your teams in your division, and there's no surprises.
Yeah.
There's no surprises for the division teams. So I would say they do not want any piece of that Rams team. Now, Rams would have to win a game, at least one, to get to play them, so they probably won't play them. But never know.
If Matt Stafford comes to Detroit and beats the Lions, nobody's going to be surprised by that. Lions fans are like, shit, here comes Matt Stafford. And they, you know what I mean? That's what they think. So I don't know. I wouldn't. I think the Rams, if the Rams have to play the Lions, I like the Rams. I'm just telling you right now. I just hate it. But thanks for stopping by.
I'm excited for playoffs, but we still have we still have 4 weeks left in NFL?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
We have
3 full weeks.
We're on
basically
16,
3 weeks.
Tonight's the end of week 15, so we have 16, 17, 18.
We have 2.5 weeks of bowl action.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's tons of football left. People are
Football every day.
I will say though,
except for today,
there's bowl game today. To me, you have to, if you really have strong opinions in college football bowl season, God bless you. But it is, especially early, it is tough because you have I don't understand. There's guys in the portal that are playing. Then there's guys that aren't in the portal that aren't playing because they might go into the portal. And you really don't know. And I follow a lot, and I have a lot of connections within media.
Right.
They think they know, but they really don't. The coach,
nobody knows.
I don't think the coach even knows. Action. I don't think the coach knows because the players now with the portal, which I don't know, fair or not fair, you can argue either way, but the players have the power now.
Yes.
With the portal and NIL, they have the power.
The asylum, folks. That's what
before
happened.
The college coaches had these guys by the balls. Not anymore, because you think you know what's happening, and then all of a sudden the guy, 4 hours before game time says, "Hey, I'm not playing." He's the best receiver, the quarterback, the tight end. It's okay, that's a pretty big, And yes, the line moves, but it's too late.
How do you game plan for that? On a defensive side, you can't because you don't know who's playing, who's not. And on an offensive side, how do you make up your game plan? Because that changes a swing. If your star wide receiver decides, I'm going to sit out, that changes.
I'm a big fan of that. I think the NFL has this, you can get fined if you don't list guys on the, questionable or whatever, the injury report. Yeah. College needs to go to that because now there's, these guys are all getting paid now, so they're no longer amateurs. So sharing that information is no longer. So to me, because the bettors, you can't be taking all this money from DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, every ad out there, and then have us bettors be on the hook with a guy that you didn't even know was injured, wasn't listed, no one mentioned it, and then 2 hours before game time or 2 minutes,
scratch.
Right, doesn't play. And then the same, like they got to figure out. I like the NIL, I like the transfer portal. You can't do it before the bowl games. The bowl games are what people play for the whole year.
Right. I feel like you have to move that transfer date, like when they decide, okay, I'm entering
January
the
10th,
portal,
like the day
has
after,
to be past a certain time.
the day after the championship game. It would be like allowing free agency in the NFL before the season, the Super Bowl. Like that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen. Yeah.
But that's what they have. They have free agency in the middle of the season. Texas backup quarterback is not going to play in the Final Four game because he's going to go get like $2.5 million as a transfer quarterback. And if he waits, he might not get that opportunity at a big school like, say Ohio State or some schools that have openings. So to me, he you could tell in the interview, he did not want to leave, but $2.5 million.
What's he going to do? He's 19. You know what I mean? I mean,
you're talking about, this isn't a
guy that might not play in the NFL. You can't
If you knew you're a can't miss prospect, you're like, I'll get it. These aren't can't miss prospects. He might not play in the NFL. He might not have this ever opportunity to make $2.5 million for 3 more years and make $7 million in his lifetime. Like this kid has to leave. But if we set the portal up correctly, like, hey, you have to wait. I don't care if your season's over. The rest of these seasons aren't over. We don't want all these, like the factor should the focus should be on the national championship, the Final Four, and bowl games right now. Instead, we're talking about transfer portals. Who's going to play? Who's not going to play?
Who's playing? Who's not? It turned into the NBA. You don't know who's in, who's not.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get injured. You always had that. I don't want to get injured for like the NFL draft. But now it's like I'm a freshman. I don't even worry about that. I'm worried about like, hey, I got to go get paid next year.
Right. And you can't blame the player because why would he not like secure his money? You know what I mean?
Sportsbooks, they don't allow you to get out of bets. Yeah, that's the other thing that could fix for bowl season. I believe they should, or even playoffs, they should allow you to cancel your wager up until game time because, like, if somebody is out, I shouldn't be stuck. Now the problem is, then what they're
you open a whole nother can of worms with.
They're going to say they want to be able to cancel the bet if you know what I mean, like you got a plus 10 and all of a sudden the favorite quarterback's out. Now that line drops to 3 and they're exposed.
What if I still want my plus 10 and they're like, no, now they want to cancel it on their end. So yeah, it works both ways. I think
people always say
I like your great fix though. Right, day after championship game, it's like free agency market. You know this date. It's this date every year, and that's when the portal opens for you to be able to transfer. This way, everybody has to.
Yeah,
you're committed. You should play in the bowl game.
It would be, to me, I'm an NIL supporter, okay? So if I say, hey, I want Joey Bosa to stay an extra year at Ohio State, so I'm going to give, as a booster, $100,000 collective, and everybody else does, he gets $2 million, and then he sets out the bowl game. The most important game as a fan, and the reason why I want him to stick around, and he's out because he's worried about getting injured in the NFL. It's like, well, then I should get some of my money back as a collective because you're not playing in the premier game of the year.
Right. What are we doing here? Right. What are we doing here?
Why did I keep you around? I mean, you imagine the guys sitting out in the NFL playoffs because they were like, hey, I might get injured. And in the offseason, my contract is up. Like, that doesn't work.
That doesn't pan out here. That doesn't work in this thing. Not even a little bit. I like that, though. Considering all the sponsorships, you lights out.
Lights on. Hold on. Let me get the lights on.
Out. You look like a minion now. The
lights on. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Be good, Lenny. Take it easy.
I appreciate it. Stopping by. I told everybody extra 100 this week on the contest.
I'm going to put up an extra 100. I feel we might have another carryover though. You never know.
I love it. Oh God, I love it. I kind of undercover secretly hope it carries out until like week 18.
All right. So here's the deal. We're gonna okay. We won't talk about it yet, but after this week, we're going to have to talk about what happens if it does. Rolls over all the way to the playoffs, then we're going to have to I don't know. We'll have to maybe we have to pay it out.
This will be the bit. So, okay, I got all my crack recordings and
Hold on a second. You
ledger
just said
here.
I got my
Week to
crack,
week.
and then you stopped.
Oh no, I got my crack reporting here.
I got my crack pipe.
Yeah, no, not the crack pipe, but nobody's ever this is the biggest. We had a 3-week rollover once. Well, we had 2 weeks rollover, and somebody, BJ Dixon, won in week 12. He won $300 because week 10 and 11 rolled over. So we've never had the third week technically roll over. So we're looking for week 16. Could be tough. There's some tough matchups like we just talked about.
I looked at the schedule. It's not an easy week. Like I said, you have teams. There's more teams in it still theoretically. You have like a 1% chance, but still you're in.
Right.
So I think that makes this week interesting. A lot of times by this time of the year, a lot more teams are out. So,
it's pretty clear cut. Division leaders or seeding, at least for the top two for the conferences, are usually pretty. You might be, juggling some here and there, but we're heading into week 16, and we only have we only have like two. We have where's the standings? I just said it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams guaranteed a playoff spot. Yep. I mean, now the Lions are making the playoffs, okay, but they're not for sure in yet. You know what I mean? Technically, mathematically, we'll figure it out. I mean, there's only been 6 teams eliminated.
It's crazy. 30 teams are in. 30 teams are still active. That's crazy.
That is nuts.
All right, buddy. Be good, man.
All right.
Take it
Thanks.
easy.
I appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to wrap it up too here. Guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll be here Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. I will be here. Thanks, Craig, for stopping by. Don't forget, you go over to picksandparlays.net. Use this promo code Lenny, Lenny, save you 20% off your entire purchase over there. Like, share, subscribe. Head over to contest. Don't forget about the contest. Craig put another $100 on this week. So the rollover took us 3. Craig put another 100. That's 4. My Detroit public school math, hard at work here. 3 + 1, 4. So, or in my neck of the country, 4. So we got $400 on next week. So check us out. I'm going to go do some free picks for you guys and bounce on out of here. Appreciate everybody stopping by. We'll have more as we go. Next week, schedule quickly. I will not be here Monday, and probably Tuesday's iffy right now. I'm still trying to figure out some stuff and schedules, but I will be here not be here Monday. It's Christmas, folks. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do next Monday? I'm gonna wear my new clothes. Every piece of new clothing I have, I put on, and I'm gonna play hopefully a video game that I get, or have to probably put some kind of toy together for some kind of kid. Something that's usually and then I don't do nothing on Christmas Day. I lay right there, right over there, right over there. No, that way. That way. I lay right over there on the couch next to my Red Ryder BB gun, and I watch Die Hard because it's the best Christmas movie ever. Good luck unless you're against me. We'll talk more about Christmas movies tomorrow. Tune in, 1 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to go run down. We got some conference or some bowls to go over for college football, NHL, all that good stuff. Tuesday, I'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. Peace.